I love how that's my defining whether data is actually good or not. I'll throw it in 3DR.
It's unfortunate. I was just thinking that because same, I'm the same. It's ridiculous.
So this is the Zeb, right? This is the first.
This is Orbis.
Oh, this is Orbis.
Without,
Okay.
Orbis without flash.
Oh, without the flash scans.
And then
Dave, you didn't get there in time, but so underneath all those structures, there's like a tunnel system. This is like I never looked up the history of this place, but there's like underground tunnels and stuff.
it's not looking too.
Oh, there's the lines. So when you get to the outskirts of it, you can definitely see that it's mobile data. I think this might be the. Yeah.
This is the horizon.
Ben, have you seen this Orbis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here. Orange try.
So this is a bunch of the flash scans that we did. This is none of the slam to fill in the gaps, Gabe. I'm not sure which one this is. Oh yeah, this is the tunnel one.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of running into that as an industry as people start to see that there's going to be a lot of value in it. So a huge growth market. I mean, we're seeing it already where we see a reality capture expert and you look at his LinkedIn and 2 months ago, he was working at Starbucks or Target or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to gatekeep, but like, I definitely want more people in the environment, but how do we differentiate the people who are posing off as experts and the people who, we don't want people to be scared away of laser scanning because someone posed it is the long and short of it.
It's just a tough, that's a tough, and there's no good answer really. I mean,
yeah. To me, I mean, the only thing you can do is just tell people, check out their LinkedIn, see how long they've been doing it before you get into business with them. I mean, realistically, before you do business with people, you should do diligence anyways, right? But
yeah.
Some people are just a good salesman, and they'll.
No, because another thing is, I want to, speaking about Dustin, right, which is reality capture experts, they're only Matterport.
And I went to troubleshoot why one of them stopped working, and I'm like, it's probably a memory thing. And then I log in and our license is expired, so I can't get any data off of it.
Oh my God.
The BLK manager doesn't work because it's a Gen 1. I tried it.
Did the BLK Live app hook up to it?
No, it wouldn't do anything. I tried with all three of them. I sat there and they're like, no connection. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. so now I'm just with my scanners, the 3 scanners sitting at my house.
That was my biggest complaint about the BLK first gen was connection.
Yeah.
It hosed me more often than not.
It works fine with a computer. It seems to do okay, but yeah, when it came to the iPads and the phones, and it's just like, oh, this is so frustrating. So I just need to wait till I have software again. But.
Yeah, and the other thing you might be able to try, because you tried the BLK data manager from your computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you update the firmware on those, you have to hook up to the Wi-Fi from your computer and then type in the IP address, and it takes you to almost a BLK Live app. You might be able to pull your data from that IP address.
Oh, okay, maybe I'll try that then. Yeah, because I tried doing the manager on the computer, and it wouldn't connect to that one.
Yeah.
And it's just like
look up the firmware updates, and at the very end of it, it goes through the process of how to update that firmware, and it will talk you through set up to Wi-Fi and type in the IP address. And
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll give that a shot.
I mean, that's another thing to try. There was also someone else that commented, "Hey, contact me," right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that must work for Hexagon or something.
Yeah, look like yeah.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm like, there's nothing I can do without licenses. I can't even work on it, so I don't even really care right now. Did what I could. I did the
Do the guys at Fortress have any? They don't have any BLKs, do they?
No,
So they can't.
no. They might have, they have register through 360, so I might be able to download it from there. But at this point, I'm like, I'm on vacation and I don't want to be bothering companies because everyone's shutting down for Christmas, and I won't be back until like going back home until the 22nd anyways, and then I have stuff that I got to figure out. So like, it's just gonna go sit at my house. We'll think about it next week. So after Christmas. But yeah, it's just, I'm hoping that they have the license figured out, but I don't think it's going to be ready before it starts, before Christmas, and then so it'll be January. Yep. Dealing with post-secondary, you know.
Is that going to hurt your PhD?
Well, I have no control over it, so I have lots that I can still work on because I'm still working on writing. So I just need to. This data is just additional validation data for. It's like, hey, look, I can actually calculate volumes, and this is the error that I'm getting in the modeling, and we know that it's this big, and we know that it's this shape, and so.
Karina, I'm off next week. If you want to send it, I'll
send what, the scanners?
She can't get the data off the scanner.
Oh, you have to get. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's my problem. Yeah, otherwise I totally would.
Roger that.
So, like, so frustrating.
Can I tell these people what you're doing with scanning for your PhD? Or
yeah, we can talk about it.
I mean, you can probably tell them better, but Karina is using a LiDAR to assist with detecting breast cancer in patients. You know, so like calculating. It's a pretty amazing use case scenario for laser scanning, to be honest with you guys.
So we do microwave imaging, and so the microwave imaging has low resolution. So we're trying to figure out exactly where it's located on the microwave scanner, and and then we have to figure out volume of the breast that's actually on there. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, and then we're going to try to register it with mammograms and figure out what's going on inside, if it's actually positionally correct when we're seeing hot spots and stuff. So. Yeah, so it's
Karina, what's your last name?
My last name is Butterworth.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just connected with you on LinkedIn because my aunt owns the Ontario Breast Clinic.
Oh no way! That's awesome. Wow.
And she actually owns an X-ray ultrasound imaging clinic.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, the ultrasound stuff is pretty incredible. What's happening there too. So yeah, our microwave system, it's nice because it's like non-ionizing, so you don't have to worry about X-ray, and it's super low power and it's super easy to read. So you don't need a specialist to do ultrasound. So it's a pretty sweet thing, but we got to validate it and show that it's actually where it is and we're getting the data out of it correctly. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So.
That's actually how we met her, was helping her with this stuff.
Nice. Now you got extra help.
Like, I need help.
She's like, look at these elbows. We're like, those don't look like elbows.
One was the one that at Hexagon was. It was an elbow.
I'm still not quite convinced, but whatever.
It is. I got rid of all the images though. I'm like, no images allowed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it definitely passed as an elbow for a little bit there.
So, but yeah, no, it's been fun and trying to.
I have another data set that just processed.
Sorry?
Oh yeah.
You want to see that?
Yeah, I don't mind. I always like to see a data set. So this is the last walk with Jacob, right? The BOK? Or the...
I think this is our first scan of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very first one. Yeah. 8:39, yeah. But one interesting thing I saw, I don't know if it's because I had to do the automatic filtering, but is if that on that very last one where you wanted it to see that gap.
Yeah.
On the flash scan, I don't know if the field of view goes down or what, but this is just the.
We
just
didn't
the-
do a flash scan on that last one. I just had him stop.
Where do you? Or was it here then? I thought we did. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's from here then.
So right now we're seeing only the flash scans, right?
Yeah.
And so for everybody that doesn't know, the flash scan is the stationary with the new Orbeez. You can stop and do like a TLS scan basically on its stand. And then what's nice about it though is you don't have to do any registration because it all comes in tied to the. Can you turn the other ones back on? The mobile? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
pretty
makes
clean.
sense. I thought we did it right at the middle of it.
No, I just kind of asked him to stop there for a second because I wanted to see if we could pick up deformation from just a regular mobile scan.
That makes more sense though.
So yeah, you definitely filtered it because it's not as dense as it was, but it's still a lot more structured than I'm used to seeing from mobile. And it didn't overheat. That's a big thing. Sorry, guys.
Back to back for a while.
That's the kind of fun thing that I want to, spend the rest of my time doing. Really, it's just taking out different scanners to the same area and trying them against each other. I think that's the only way we're going to cut through all the sales BS that's going on. Is if this company's getting a BLK pulse.
Oh, yeah, I'm curious to see those in action.
Yeah. Well, I found out the pricing before his company got the pricing, so.
It's what is it? It's right around the same. It's a little bit cheaper than the to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 41.
Yeah.
Starting at 41, so you're basically 50K, right?
Yeah.
By the time you add everything, software, this, that, right?
Yeah. And it's okay. Yeah, I'm just interested to see because that whole sensor just blows my mind, really. The fact that it's taking pictures with LiDAR, it's not a beam, it's a full on, instead of reading RGB values, it's reading LiDAR distance measurements. And at 60 frames a second, it's black magic to me. I don't quite understand it.
Maybe
Karina,
if you
I just sent you a link where you can get a temp license.
I'm trying to get Talon, the student.
Yeah,
don't
yeah, I
know
love
if you
Talon.
remember it. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to go to Geo Week, so he might be there. We're trying to fund him to go. So.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm speaking at Geo Week, so tell him to hit me up while he's there.
sorry, say that again.
I'm presenting at Geo Week, so
Right.
tell him to hit me up.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell him to go look for you guys for sure because I'm sure he's gonna be pretty intimidated being a first-year student by himself in another country.
Speaking of which, you other Canadian guys, Talon is a first-year geomatics student, but he impressed the crap out of us while we were there. He's a real go-getter, So
Yeah,
I'm not saying you should steal him, but
we were talking with one of the other Canadian local guys, and they recognized this kid's potential as well. So keep an eye on that. He'll go far if he wants to stay in this industry.
Yeah,
He's like a natural kind of seeming kid.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
What's going on in Karina? Any big jobs starting up there for you guys? Well, not for you guys because you're not doing it, but locally, is there any?
In Calgary?
Yeah.
I haven't really heard too much. Like they just finished the ring road and they just opened that, which was a huge project. That's been 40 years in the running. So a lot of the students were really excited talking about that because a lot of them worked on it during the summer. So, but yeah, so that opened up. But other than our conference center that they're working on, that's pretty much about it. Right now it's the big deal about housing, right? So it's like we got to get houses up and subdivisions like approved and everything. So that's the big thing right now, and converting some of the downtown buildings into residences rather than office buildings. But I don't know exactly where that's all sitting at the moment. And I know.
See, that's a good use for scanning right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's and I think that they're trying to put in a internal farm in one of the buildings downtown. So trying to convert it to like a hydroponic farm and just fill the building with crops. And so that would be really cool. I'm like really hoping I can like find a way to get access to that to see what's going on with that. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to grow, but they say crops, whatever that, whatever vegetable or grain that they're going to be doing, I don't know. So yeah, creating an entire power to it.
Imagine that'll be a big deal up there with, crops being so seasonal,
Yeah. Yeah, and Calgary has a really short growing season, so like we can grow carrots and beans and Swiss chard, and like that's about it. Actually, I was going to ask, do you guys know of any like jobs where they've had to calculate volumes of objects crammed into crevices?
Oh.
I know. Like,
We might have to take that one offline.
A follow-up here afterwards.
That's not what I meant.
Can you be a little bit like, does this have to do with your PhD?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I was thinking, because in order to back that up, like what I'm doing, because thinking like, if you have a building and you end up with something that falls in between like the wall or something and it's stuck in there and you need to be able to pull it out, like what does that
just leave it.
object, like what's the volume of that so you get the right thing, like right amount of rope or whatever? I don't know if that's like being done. Like it seems like a really weird thing, but or people like fall into crevices and mountains and like glaciers, and then we got to like rescue them.
See, we do a lot more of the opposite, where we have a big empty hole and we can find out exactly how much stuff we want to cram into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we do a lot of that, but not so much necessarily pull. Oh, well, we do like cut and fill basically, right? Where you figure out how much crap you need to pull out of that hole, but not necessarily how much crap is in the hole with space around it. That's what you're trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have something there and you're trying to figure out the volume of it from like, from the top down or, from bottom up. You're trying to get that volume of what it is. That's like a rock or whatever.
I think if I'm just throwing this out there, but I don't know the exact scenario, but is there a way to scan it? I mean, I don't even know if this helps, but can you scan it after you remove the object?
Well,
Like just
no, let's just say no. That like you've got, let's say there's a rock in between, and that if it moves, people are going to die, right? Like, so I'm just thinking like if there's something like that, like in terms of mountains, that like natural areas that is being done, and if not, then that's totally cool. That's great because that means that I can take it and spin it that way. So, and just be like, here's a laser scanning thing that nobody's ever done before in their lives.
So I'll contact my buddies at Rapid, which if you guys haven't heard of Rapid, they go and scan every natural disaster that ever happens. They're part of the UW and see if they've done something like that.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Mm-hmm.
If they're the only ones I could think of that would be out doing something like that. I don't know if anybody else has any, but if they haven't done it, probably not.
Yeah,
I'll check with you. I'll check with Eugene because he does forensic scanning.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And get back to you on that.
Sure.
Yeah, that actually could be like 2 buses, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Absolutely. And now even with like as SLAM scanners become better, I mean, we all are that right now they're not the most accurate, but they are improving, So I think maybe might be something coming, that is accurate enough for that. I don't know.
Yeah, they're definitely, every time I try a newer one, it gets me closer and closer to eating my words, right? Because I've been a big anti-mobile scanner guy for a while. So eventually one of them's going to take my words and shove them right down my throat.
I'd love to
And I'll
see
be
it.
happy about it, actually, you know.
Yeah, no, again, 2-minute scans are killing me, you know. Just want it to be over with.
That's the same what I'm finding with all my modeling in there. Everything's about 10% error.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get about 7%, but yeah, like I was scanning a wood block just like to show that, hey, look, I'm getting the same volume every time, and yeah, I have about a 10% error in that, and that's using something called modified Hausdorff distance. So after I've done the modeling, I put it together and then I calculate between the faces of the tins, and yeah, it's 10%. There's
And
a couple that are about 20, but
is that, and are the normals the same every time, the faces? Every
yeah,
time?
that's what it's based on. Yeah, there's another one called Frichet distance, which is looking at similarity. So it actually looks at the shape as well.
Mhm.
That one's a little bit higher, but the indifference, like an error, but the distance between them and everything else is yeah, it's about 10%. So I know
Well, that
that
still puts it within the 90% that a survey software would want to get, right? 90% confidence.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, with a PhD, like I can't expect it to be 100%. Like it's not going to be.
Yeah.
Like I have a scanner that has an error to it, and then I have, you know, the modeling, and every step in the way there's additional error that's always going to be added in. So I'm like 10% is actually pretty good. So like
Yeah.
for everything taking me 45 minutes to fully process, like every single 2 scans, like the 10% is pretty good, I think. Like,
I posted a video about Faro, and immediately people were like, "Oh, you should try the Faro or the Regal." And so now I'm definitely more interested in, like, you know, and like I said 2 weeks ago, the people that use Regal love Regal, but I still haven't seen anything that really quite makes it that expensive.
Has anybody tried the VLX? The Navis VLX?
Oh, I thought you were going to try that this last week, right?
Haven't got up there yet.
Okay.
Been busy.
I played with it a little bit. Mac, you were here for that, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. I
You
took
know,
that
it's
data. Go ahead.
interesting. This kind of feels like a typical SLAM scanner, though. And then they have, they basically control their own data, which I'm not a giant fan of. I want to manipulate the data myself and make sure that it's coming in correctly. But that's not a thing with their, you know, basically you scan it, you send them the data, process it, send the data back. There are some advantages, like shareable, right? So you can share it with projects or whoever. That's interesting. But again, there's really no way for you to see what you're doing.
And I will say, you know, in their viewer that they send you, it looked beautiful. And then I took it into 3DR, and I did the first thing that I do in every 3DR is density all the way up, pixel size all the way down, right? And I couldn't even tell what I was looking at anymore. So they had decimated it, and that's part of their process, I believe, is they, you know, their best fitting planes and getting rid of any noisy data. And I'm pretty sure they decimated it down to a point where if you drop the size, you didn't even know what you were looking at anymore. But yeah.
It looks like we're out of time, but what I really want to know is how people are sharing data.
Where are we getting this feedback from?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm gonna mute myself if you want to talk, Gabe.
I just want to know what you guys are using to share with clients. Are you only sharing modeled stuff, or are you sharing a point cloud that they can go in and measure? I mean, I know we have a couple options with Cyclone, like 3DR Viewer and TrueView, but there must be other options that people are using. And the reason I want to know is I want to be able to share it with projects in-house at Turner, so that project managers, whoever, can jump in there and you know, measure stuff. You know, not necessarily to the accuracy that we do, but if they could check the size of a room or pull up a scan and maybe share a picture for logistics planning or, stuff like that. Is anybody doing that?
Yes, we have a hub. Our clients log in onto our hub, and all their files are there, from the model to point clouds.
What's the viewer though?
I gotta find that out.
I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, because we have like TrueView Viewer, which is awesome and it's free, right? But some people refuse to even download that TrueView onto their computer, so there has to be like an online viewer.
That's my issue with it.
I use Solve 3D. Solve 3D is what I share all my data with, like high schools and stuff, when I go and do presentations and everything. And then, and it's just like an HTML that you open up, and it opens up a full viewer. They can change point density, point size, all the images and everything with it. It's actually pretty cool.
What's funny is I think that's actually why this is in my head. I now that you said that, I think I saw this the other day. But it's something that I'm interested in doing. Maybe I'll reach out.
What was that called again?
Solve 3D. Yeah, they're awesome. They're in Calgary.
There's no E. It's SOLV 3D, because there is a Solve 3D with an E, and that's not the right one.
Yeah, no E. Yeah.
Okay.